So what really makes a developer stand out in today's world? It's definitely more than just writing good code. In this explainer, we're going to break down the profile of one particular expert to see what it really takes to achieve modern engineering excellence.
Now get a load of this quote. This sentence came out of a deep technical audit of a developer who goes by Code Wrangler. That is some seriously high praise. So, what did this developer do to earn a review like that? Well, let's dig in and find out.
Okay, first up, let's build the profile of this modern engineer. We're going to start by looking at the sheer scale and the structure of their work. On 173, take a look at this developer's public GitHub, and that's the number of repositories you'll find. I mean, that is a massive digital footprint. But hey, we all know quantity isn't everything, right? It's what's actually inside all those repos that starts to tell the real story here.
So the audit breaks it all down, and this is where a clear strategy starts to pop out. A full 40% of the work is just pure experimentation. That's the sign of someone who's always learning, always pushing boundaries. But then you see that 15% is production-ready software. So this isn't just a tinkerer. This is an engineer who actually ships products. And that 25% dedicated to starters and templates, that is just smart. That's the mark of a developer who works efficiently and builds systems to make sure they're not solving the same problem over and over again.
All right, section 2, architect of tools and systems. We've seen the scale of the work, so now let's get into the how, the specific tech and the architectural choices behind it all.
The front-end stack here is basically a textbook example of modern best practices. Sure, Next.js and React are pretty standard these days, but the key thing to notice is the disciplined use of TypeScript. This shows it's not just about building pretty UIs, it's about engineering robust, scalable interfaces that are way easier to maintain and a lot less buggy.
But honestly, the back-end choices are where it gets really interesting. They're using lightweight, edge-ready tools like Node.js, which shows a relentless focus on performance, running code closer to the user for maximum speed. And the database choices are really sophisticated. We're talking distributed SQL for handling massive scale. And get this, using Redis not just as a simple cache, but as a primary ultra-fast data store. That's some next-level thing.
And here's where we hit a really crucial distinction. It's one thing to be a great consumer of technology, but when you start building the tools that other developers rely on, you're just operating on a totally different level. And that brings us to his flagship open-source project.
The tool he built is an object modeling tool, or OMT. So what on earth is that? Well, you can think of it as a bridge, a really smart one, that sits between your application's code and your database. It's there to enforce rules and structure, which makes interacting with your data a whole lot safer and just plain easier. And this brings us to Harpee, his OMT for the HarperDB database. When you look at its features, you can see it's all about improving the developer's life. The schema class enforces structure, the model class simplifies all the common database tasks, and the H-type utility adds that extra layer of data validation. He didn't just find a problem, he engineered a solution and then gave it back to the community.
Okay, section 3, the mind of a mentor. So this developer doesn't just build things, he also teaches. The audit revealed this deep commitment to mentorship, and it absolutely shines through in his technical writing.
Just look at this title from one of his articles. If you're a Next.js developer, you've probably felt the pain of this exact error. It's super specific, it's technical, and it's aimed at solving a really common, frustrating problem for other developers. This is clearly someone who documents their journey to help others out.
But while looking through his writing, the auditors found something completely unexpected. And it's brilliant because it gives us this more holistic view of his mindset. Right next to these deep technical articles were guides on how to make restaurant-quality fried rice and perfect salad dressing. It suggests a mind that just loves applying structured, systematic thinking to solve problems, whether that problem is in your code or in your kitchen.
And his writing goes way beyond just solving today's problems. He's also tackling these big, forward-looking questions. In an article called The AI Paradox, he's wrestling with one of the core challenges of our time. How do we use the incredible power of AI while also being wisely skeptical about what it produces? This shows a mind that's thinking strategically about where our entire industry is headed. So, Section 4 is the Strategic Generalist Blueprint. What does all of this add up to? The prolific coding, the tool building, the mentorship, the strategic thinking, it all points to a single, really powerful blueprint for a modern developer.
But first, let's add one more piece of evidence to the pile. This developer has proven performance under pressure. We're not just talking about personal projects here. He's an award winner in a global hackathon and recognized in others. This proves he can innovate and deliver high-quality work even when the clock is ticking.
And here it is. This is the core insight from the audit. After putting all this evidence together, they came up with a single defining term, the strategic generalist. Now, this is more than just a fancy term for a full-stack developer. The key here is combining deep expertise in one core area with broad, practical knowledge across the entire stack, all so you can make architectural decisions that actually serve business goals.
And this concept is what connects everything. It explains why he'd choose a lightweight framework like Node.js. It's about performance and cost. It explains why he would build a tool like Harpee. It's about boosting developer efficiency and cutting down on errors. Every single technical choice is a strategic one, made for a reason.
And that leaves us with one final, really important question. As AI gets better and better at handling routine coding tasks, who becomes the most valuable engineer? Will it be the hyper-specialists, or will it be the strategic generalists, the architects who can see the entire board and make the right strategic moves? This case study definitely suggests an answer, but I suppose the future of our industry will be the ultimate judge.